Today we're going to talk about the game that got me into board games and find out if it is still worth playing or
if it gets lost in the shuffle.
Oh no!
Hello, we are joined today by Grant Lyon from Grant's Game Picks.
I appreciate the welcome. You did a great job with this.
That's why I brought you here, was just to hear that very thing.
Yes, no, I will build you up as much as I can throughout the day.
You get it.
Well, yeah. What a great collection you have. You have all the games I've always wanted. That's all a gamer wants to really hear, is that your collection is impressive. And
I think so.
Yes, it is. It's taken me a long time. I'm very proud of it. Thank you for the acknowledgement.
What is the game that got you into modern board games?
I started making content in like 2020, and I had about 100 games before I started making content.
Oh, really?
Which, compared to a lot of people, is a lot of games. Compared to hardcore gamers, is not that many.
No.
When I told my regular friends I had 100 games, people would be like, why? And then I told gamers when I first started getting sort of more involved in the world that I had 100 games, and they'd be like, that's cute.
But we all gotta start from somewhere.
Yes, for sure. So I will say, I started as a kid with Magic the Gathering, and I played a lot of Magic from maybe the age of like 11 to 14, but I didn't really seek out other games, and then I kind of left it behind and was doing other stuff. And then I sort of rediscovered the world of modern board games around like 2015, something like that. I had a friend, a comedian in Los Angeles, who started hosting game nights for other comedians and friends and stuff like that. And it was all casual games, and the game that sort of, gave me that spark, that sort of light bulb, that aha moment was Codenames.
Oh.
Yeah, for sure.
I just coincidentally just happened to have it.
Hey!
This guy.
And it is still a game I will play. It's still a game that I love. And part of the reason I think for me is because there are few games that are as sort of flexible as Codenames. Like, I think Codenames is a different game to different groups of people. In an interesting way, Codenames sort of meets the group where they're at. I have played games of this that are raucous and wild. I have played games of this that are quiet and thinky. I have played games that are silly. I've played games that are serious, and it kind of like meets a group where they're at. And I like that about it a lot.
I can totally understand that about it.
Yeah, and for me, I think that's what I needed, because I wanted like a way to hang out with my friends that wasn't just standing around in a bar. That was sort of the moment I was at in my life where I was like, I don't want to just hang around like anymore. Like having an activity and still getting to be social, but having like structure to the hangout, I think was like what I really wanted. And Codenames did a great job with that, because you can still be social, but then there's these quiet moments where everybody's thinking and it's interesting enough where you're like, ooh, that was clever. Like there's still those moments, and yet there was still a bunch of trash talking when it was like, that's the clue you came up with? What an idiot, And so I wanted that sort of both clever and socialness of my hangout, and I thought Codenames did that really well and made me want to like check out other stuff and experience other games.
Codenames Duet then came out, and it's the two-player version.
Yes.
This is a game that I personally am shocked works. When I first heard about it, it's like, how are you going to make Codenames work for just two people?
Sure.
But it does. Now, to you, does Codenames Duet stand up to the test of time like normal Codenames?
I do think so. I always tell people, I think this one's harder. Like significantly harder. So I'm like, hey, you want an actual challenge, then go try Codenames Duet, because there are plenty. I feel like I've lost Codenames Duet more than I've won it.
That doesn't surprise me.
Oh, now I get that you were condescending.
Yeah, now I get it. Now it's clear.
Yeah, having two-player games is probably like the number one thing I get asked about on the internet and stuff like that, where so many people are like, I just want a game to play with my partner after we put the kid to sleep, or I can't get a bunch of people over all the time, and so I'm super happy that Codenames Duet exists. There's like a Codenames Disney and a Codenames Harry Potter, and those are objectively less fun because some of the fun is about making connections between things that don't have connections.
Right.
And then when everything is Harry Potter, you're like, I don't know what to say. I can't say Harry Potter because that's everything here. Like, you know?
A question I like to always ask is, hold on. Have you played the pictures?
I have played the pictures,
okay.
yes.
Okay, time to get real in. Which do you prefer and why?
I prefer regular code names. I played Codenames Words before I played. It's the game I love because it got me into games. How much of me thinking that it's better is the fact that it is objectively better versus I just have an emotional connection and a nostalgic connection because it is the game that I played first? You know, the pictures is fun, and I like having both because it's a different challenge, but the pictures is kind of all about weird stuff.
For example, there's this monkey with a space helmet.
Yeah, a Santa on a surfboard. Did I say surfboard? Boy, that makes me look like I've never lived in California in my life.
I'm keeping that in.
I think the connections are more clever maybe with words. There's no path between the words, whereas this like kind of pushes you into a direction with
Could be
this
leading
sort
the
of,
witness a little.
Yeah, yes, that's a good way to put it.
Is it still in your collection?
Yeah.
And if not, what has it been replaced by?
It is still in my collection. I have other things in my collection that I think do a good job as well that like I want to keep in my collection as well as Codenames. Like for instance...
Don't tell me.
Okay.
Don't tell me.
Okay.
Because we're going to save that as the actual factual like game night recommendation,
Sure.
which we will come back to right after this word from the sponsor to help make this episode that you're watching possible.
Sweet.
Hi, I'm Chaz Marler, Watch It Played host and board game enthusiast. But inevitably, I spend many of my game nights like this.
Well, I don't know. Well, what do you want to play?
So, to help me and my game group spend less time choosing and more time playing, I went and made a website called GameNightPicks.com. Now, we can suggest games ahead of time and vote on which ones to pick to play next. More time together, less time staring at the game shelf, just standing there, just wondering what to play next. The website just launched and is open to everybody, including you. You're welcome to use it too. Schedule public and private game nights, discover suggested games and make recommendations, vote on which ones to play next, set your personal preferences for each title, indicate your level of expertise, record your plays, manage your collection, and more stuff too, actually, now that I've been busy. So follow the link in this video's description to GameNightPicks.com. It's free to start using, and I hope the site helps you find your next game night picks and play more games with more people.
So I will preface this by saying I think a lot of people, you know, when they recommend a game based on code names, So Clover is one of the ones they do. That's one that I hear from a lot of people, but I want to go a little bit less well known. It's one of my favorite cooperative party games out there, and it is a game I don't feel like enough people know about. It's a game called Cross Clues. There is an empty grid, and you have words along an X and Y axis.
Okay.
And the card in your hand will say C1, and you have to look at the letters across the top and the numbers here, and okay, there's words under C, and there's word at 1. I need to give a clue that gets anybody else to guess where this goes in the grid. So I'm trying to find these connection points between different words. So if the word was like mountain and vacation, maybe I would say cabin.
Right.
Right? Okay, that gets you go to a vacation, to a cabin, it's in a mountain.
And that part seems very Codenames-esque.
Exactly.
Okay.
But it is cooperative, right? So we're all trying to work together, and it has that same thing that Codenames does, where there's a lot of discussion and debate where I'm giving a clue and everybody else is going, okay, what does he mean? What is he talking about right now? But also what do we think? What does Grant think? My sisters always tease me because whenever we play any of these types of games, they're like, no. But think about how Grant would think about it. We have to think about it in a different way right now. I get made fun of for that a lot. There are times in the game in Cross Clues where these two words aren't related in one bit, you know, and you have to just figure out how to get somebody there. And so you see weird clues, you see good clues, you see bad clues, you see all of that sort of stuff, just trying to connect words that are inherently, not connected at all.
Oh.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for joining me.
This was a lot of fun. Thanks for having me here.
Yep, and I don't know how to end the episodes yet.
Yep, that's all right.
For those who are watching that may not be familiar with your work, why don't you go ahead and just give us the elevator pitch of what it is that you do.
I make content about board games, usually short form content. I'm sort of most well known on TikTok and Instagram through my channels Grant's Game Rex on there. I recommend good games, I make jokes, and I make it fun. And then I also have a YouTube channel where I do like a series on the best games coming to retail, where I talk to hundreds of publishers and bring information. It's a lot.
I guess that'll work.